Welcome back. You want answers. We want answers. Well, you know what? It takes a plan, and we have that for you today. Dan Harms with me. I'm Ryan Tracy. You're going to hear from Gary here in a minute as we set you up for the Chiefs game plan and primer for this look at the Bucs, which is a weird game to begin with.
Yeah.
And that's what comes down to getting ready for it. I'm going to start off because the number one thing that you have to do is circle the wagons. You be you. Don't be too concerned about what's going on there. Set your plan, follow your plan, and make sure that you execute. Keep things simple this week. It looks like it's still going to be in Tampa as we record this, but you never know. You could be in Minnesota. That's point one that the Chiefs have to get done in order to get a win against Tom Brady, who's diminished. You have to say that his lineup's not as great as it usually is, but you also have to say that with Mike Evans back, that's a concern. We're going to get into the specifics here in a second, but make sure if you want to know more about this team, how the NFL works, and how to play this actual sport, make sure you hit the sub button right now, Dan. What's number two?
Funny enough, preparation. Feels like the last couple of games we've seen from the Chiefs, they haven't been the most prepared for the defensive side, on the offensive side, for the defense. The defense on the Chiefs is actually really, really good. So the offense needs to have their plan prepared. It seems like the Jags were more prepared for the Chargers defense and the Colts defense leading into those games than the Chiefs were. Like,
Don't say
exactly.
that.
Exactly. It's hard to really get behind that. When you think about it, look at the offense for the Jags. Look at the offense for the Chiefs. It's a little different, but they have to have that plan. They have to come in with every possible outcome that the defense can throw at you. Every tendency that this coordinator has ever shown, you have to be prepared to see it and have something to counter off of it. You can't keep spamming the same stuff if it's not going to work.
Well, I'm glad that you put it that way too, because that's my second point. Stay disciplined. That's what you have to do in order to get this win. And that means following that game plan that you've put that preparation into. And for both sides of the ball, it starts with Patrick Mahomes. There is no other one that has to stay more disciplined. He even admitted it last week. I'm hanging out, looking for the big play, whatever. You're supposed to hit the ball and get it out. That's the baseline. You have to get that done. He has to stay disciplined. Andy Reid has to stay disciplined and call the run. You have to attack the linebacker level in particular, who thwarted you in that Super Bowl, who think that they can keep up with you today. Ask Shaq. Let's see how that works out. But you have to stay disciplined in attacking the play call, just like you do on the field. And lastly, on the defensive side, staying disciplined means being able to shake it off. You got a lot of rookies that are playing here. They're going to make plays. You have to stay disciplined in your technique, disciplined in your assignments. And if you give up a play, quick memory, get past it, move on, and get ready for the next one.
This is so great. I love that we get to finally see some more Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes, because what this comes down to really bring this home. You talk about the defense, the pass rush. Okay. It has been among the best in terms of generating pressures in the NFL this year. Funny enough, it's a complementary defense. We have that, and we also have the sixth best rush defense according to DVOA in the NFL. That's right. The Kansas City Chiefs have the sixth rated DVOA rush defense, guys. That's never happened. I don't think it's ever happened in Andy Reid's 10 years as the head coach. So I love seeing that. Get the pass rush home. Tom Brady has an offensive line in front of him, much like the Chiefs had in the Super Bowl. Now you get to go attack it. Get to him the way that they were able to get to Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl. And the way you do that, you stay creative. Steve Spagnuolo was in his bag. If you guys you missed it, the video I have of the defense, there's so much fun stuff that he was throwing in that game. So many different looks. Do the same thing, and you can get home to Tom Brady and make this a game where you don't have to score a ton of points just to keep it competitive.
That's what it comes down to. That's the 4 points of this game plan against the Bucs. Now, Gary's got all the stats you need to know on the primer coming up right now.
Thank you, Ryan and Dan. Now let's look at the stat primer for the Chiefs and Bucs game on Sunday. This is the 14th time the two teams will face off, and Tampa Bay leads the series with a 7-6 record over the Chiefs. So the Chiefs hope to tie the series up next week when they go to Tampa Bay. Looking at the two teams offensively, their comparison goes as such. The Chiefs have been outperforming the Buccaneers in nearly every offensive category. And yards per play, the Chiefs are averaging 6.2 yards per play, which is good for fourth in the NFL. The Buccaneers are averaging a measly 4.8 yards per play, ranking 26th. the Chiefs' passing offense has been significantly more effective than the Buccaneers' passing offense, and their rushing offense has also been better than Buccaneers. Interesting to note, neither the Chiefs or the Bucs have had good production on the ground so far in 2022. Leonard Fournette must be having a hard time because the Buccaneers are 28th in rushing yards per attempt, only averaging 3.4 yards per carry. The Chiefs are 20th, averaging 4.1 yards per carry. In terms of points per drive, the Chiefs rank 4th in the NFL, scoring 2.7 points per drive. And the Buccaneers are 21st in the NFL, only averaging 1.25 points per drive. In terms of turnover percentage, both teams have done a fair job taking care of the ball. The Chiefs have turned the ball over on 6.5% of their drives. The Buccaneers have turned the ball over on 11.1% of their drives. So look for the Chiefs defense to try and force some turnovers, and maybe they'll get a couple on Sunday. Regarding passing, the Buccaneers are a run-heavy team. So they run the ball 45% of the time, which is relatively high compared to a lot of other NFL teams. The Chiefs have passed the ball on 61% of their plays. In points per game, the Chiefs average 29.3 points per game, which is 4th in the NFL, and the Buccaneers have only averaged 17 points per game, good for 21st. So with the Buccaneers offense only averaging 4.8 yards per play and only scoring 17 points per game, you want to see the Chiefs defense be able to handle them in this game. You don't want to see the Buccaneers scoring a lot of points. And I don't think that the Buccaneers will score a lot of points because they have not done that so far this year with any regularity. Comparing the two teams' defenses, both teams have played very well defensively, with the Buccaneers edging out the Chiefs in a lot of categories, but not all of them. In terms of yards per play, the Chiefs have given up 4.6 yards per play. The Buccaneers have given up 4.5. So both of these teams, in terms of defensive yards per play allowed, are top 5 in the NFL. Both teams have done well against the pass, and both teams have done well against the run. In terms of points per drive, the Buccaneers have given up the fewest points per drive in the NFL so far in this young season, only giving up 0.75 points per drive. That is number 1 in the NFL. The Chiefs rank 18th with 1.91 yards per drive, or points per drive allowed. So looking at these two, you can see that both teams are relatively similar in terms of how well they've succeeded defensively in terms of yards per play, but that hasn't shown itself to be, or they're not similar in points per drive. So sometimes these anomalies like this, they tend to regress towards the mean. So I would expect the Chiefs defense to give up fewer points per drive as the season goes on, and the Buccaneers defense to give up more points per drive. In terms of points per game, same as points per drive, the Chiefs are 17th in the NFL, giving up 21.7 points per game, and the Buccaneers are number 1 in the NFL in points per game defense, only giving up 9 points per game. So the Chiefs offense has their work cut out for them, because only allowing opponents, even after 3 games, 9 points per game, that's pretty dang impressive. So the Buccaneers defense is going to be a challenge for the Chiefs offense, and after a rough week at the Colts, you would hope that they bounce back, but this is not a good team to bounce back offensively against. In terms of pressure percentage, both the Bucs and the Chiefs have been able to get after the quarterback. The Chiefs are 2nd in the NFL in terms of pressure percentage, pressuring the opposing quarterback 35.8% of the time. And the Buccaneers are 6th in pressure percentage, pressuring the opposing quarterback in 27.9% of dropbacks. Both teams blitz with a decent amount of regularity. The Chiefs are the 8th most blitzing team, while the Buccaneers are the 7th most blitzing team. And they both blitz about 30% of the time. In terms of turnover percentage, the Chiefs have not forced many turnovers so far in 2022. They rank 28th in turnovers per drive. They've only forced a turnover in 6% of their opponent's offensive possessions. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers have done an excellent job forcing turnovers, as they've ranked 4th in the NFL so far this year, causing a turnover in 1 out of every 5 drive that their opponents have had. So they forced a turnover in 22.2% of the drives that they've seen. And there's your answer for why the Buccaneers defense has allowed fewer points than the Chiefs defense, but they have about the same statistics. It's because the Buccaneers have been turning teams over, the Chiefs have not. So the turnovers will loom extremely large in this game, and if the Chiefs can take care of the ball, they should be in good shape to score some more points. In terms of everyone's predictions between Ryan, Dan, and myself, Ryan predicts the Chiefs will win 27-21. Dan predicts the Chiefs will win 20-17. And I'm also predicting Chiefs 29-16. I kind of like those weird scores if you couldn't tell. And we also don't know if Butker's going to be back. So maybe there's some funny things that happen in terms of extra points for the Chiefs next week. But I do like Matt Wright. I think he's an accurate kicker. He just doesn't have quite the leg that Butker has. So he's got that going for him, which is nice. But what are your predictions? What do you think the score is going to be? Let us know in the comments. As always, make sure to like and subscribe. And thank you for dropping by. This is Gary signing out.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.